So now we're going to talk about the volleys. I may have a little different approach to what you're used to hearing, but for me this has worked, and for everybody that I've worked with, it seems to have improved their volleys, and they seem to understand it pretty fast. So the main thing is that the attitude you have when you volley has to be that you want the ball. If you're not ready to volley, you will not be as good as you should be, and you will probably miss much more than you actually should as well. So you have to be ready, you have to want the ball, otherwise technique and everything doesn't really matter in my opinion. So let me show you, and then hopefully it will make sense to you. So now we're in the position where I would like to be as a volleyer, as a service partner. So this is where I would stand, and then technically is where I want to talk about things now a little bit. So we'll start with a stance first. So obviously you have to have bend in your knees. The split step has to be with your knees inwards a little bit. You can't have them outwards, then you can't move. So that's where you want to be. And I feel a lot of coaches still teach that this is your position as a volley, which I don't like, because it's gonna take too much time for you to get in a position to actually hit your volley. So the main thing, like I talked about, is the attitude. You need to want to volley. Second to that, there is something I said, you need to have your head as close to the racket head as possible. Sounds a bit iffy, I know. But you need to have your head as close to the racket head as possible, because I want your head to follow your racket. So if it's a forehand volley, I want you to follow this way. And if it's a backhand volley, I need you to follow this way. If there is too much space between your racket head and your head, say down here, I feel that you lose connection with your racket. And by actually following your racket to here, you actually make the shoulder turn that is very important as well. So the key to a really good volley as well is that you want to have a connect between the two heads. Basically just follow, and then you follow. And then also when it comes to the forehand volley, I want your left arm to follow the racket. I don't want your left arm out here, because then you open up and then you show your stomach to the net, which is not something you really want to do. So when you're actually having to play a forehand volley, if you follow with your left hand, you get this shoulder turn. That is really important, this tucked shoulder, because you don't want to be open here. So follow with your hand and then just follow through. So then you're actually in a really, really good position here. And this is where you want to be. And also what I talked about before, about the opening stance of not having the racket too high, I prefer to dip it low. Because if everything at the net, you need to save as much time as you possibly can, because you don't have time. This is the least time you have on a tennis court, because the ball comes really fast to you. So if you're up here and your finishing position in a volley is actually down here, you lose so much time by having to dip this racket and then come through. So you're gonna be late way too many times. You don't want to be late. So if your starting position is here, all you have to do is fold your racket out, keep your head in connection with your racket head, left arm here, and then just follow through. So then it's very fast, very simple, out and through. To talk a little about the stance as a service partner, this is pretty much where I like to be. I like to be center of the box, just a little bit up. And a lot of people I see, they actually stand level with their feet, waiting for the ball, which I don't like. I don't like it. I feel like this is not an optimum position to move in all four directions, front, back, right, left. So what I always like to do, I'd like to stand a little bit with the left foot in front, right foot back. Obviously on your toes, pressure on the inside of your feet. So because of this way, I feel that I'm just one step away from every direction that I want. So if it's left, I always just lift this foot and then I go. And if it's right, it's the opposite, right? But the reason why I want to stand with my feet, with my left foot a little bit front, is that I have a better cover for the lob. And in that case, I just have to lift my right foot and then I go. Same thing, obviously moving forward, I just lift the left foot and then I go forward. I feel if I stand level with my feet, I lose time, because if I stand level with my feet to move back, I often feel I have to make a small adjustment step to then move. I don't feel I am strong enough or have enough leverage to move straight away in this way. And I always felt just that little difference, one foot in front of the other, basically they're almost going toe to heel. And I feel that way I am much faster of moving back. All right, so now I'm gonna try to show what I'm actually talking about. So we'll start with a forearm volley here. Position is, like I said, wide stance, one foot slightly in front of the other. And here we go, this is the forearm volley. And I try to keep my head close to my racket head and then just push through. So also one of the main things is I never want my racket to go behind my shoulder. This is too big of a swing. This is not where you want to be. You will be late. So you just want to fold out and then push through. The legs will do the movement for you, not the arm. The arm is borderline still. So it's just out and legs do everything. All right, here we go. Always back and forth, back and forth. So we'll try some faster feeds now as well to just show that if you use your legs and your racket is in a good position, how stable you can actually be. Often the racket you lose your racket when all of the other things are not in place. So stay low, really have that racket out in front, and that should be fine. So one of the main thing obviously is not to be late. And a lot of people that I talk to, they feel if they're actually moving towards the ball, they lose time. But in my opinion, that's not true, because if you're really ready to volley and you're meeting the ball, you're actually engaged with a shot. And then your nervous system will pick up the ball faster, which will make you see the ball better and quicker. So you will actually not lose time. In my opinion, it feels like I'm making time. If I am compact and aggressive enough, I feel like I make time. So when it comes to the backhand volley, the thought is pretty much the same as with the forehand volley. The positioning is the same, the starting position. Then you have to obviously turn your racket out, keep your racket head and your head close here also, and then you just follow through. So what I find really important on the backhand volley is that I don't want your wrist to be too bent, because I feel this is a weaker position, and then you're gonna miss too many balls. You're gonna be late and you're gonna hit them wide, you're gonna miss. So I would always try to keep my wrist a little bit straight so that I could just be in a stronger position with my body, and then they could hit as hard as they wanted, and I always felt that I could just hold them off. So again, with a backhand volley, the starting position is the same. Turn out, head follows your racket, and then keep your wrist not too bent. You're gonna have to experiment with this, but not too bent. I don't feel that's the right way to go. So just keep it a little bit straight and then really follow through. And everything about volleys starts with your legs. So you need to have a low stance and a wide stance as well. I would say a little bit wider than your shoulders. It's what I prefer. Then I really feel you can get to every ball. But it really starts with the legs. And from here, you always have to be in movement, back and forth, but you really have to meet every ball that comes to you, and you can't do that with straight legs. Then you're toast. right, so now we're going to talk about the backhand volley. And just like I talked about before, stance is important, wide feet, down low, and then all you have to do is turn out and follow through. So with a backhand volley, I find it very important to not want to be with a straight arm, because this makes you weaker and you're not going to be able, your shoulder is not strong, your wrist is not strong. So I always want to have a little bit of a bend, so I actually have much more power. And this really engages my core and everything, and that's how I want to volley. I want to feel strong from the tip of my toe out to the end of my racket. And this is where I want to be. I don't want the wrist to be too bent. I do the bending with my elbow instead, and then I work from here where I want to be. So also with your backhand, if you feel your timing is a little bit off, with a forehand as well, but I would like you to think about when you're planting your right foot. You don't want to be too early, because then you don't have your core engaged with your arm at all, and then you're going to be weak and wobbly. Same thing, you don't want to be too late, because then that's the same thing. You don't have the strength and stability. So try to plant your foot as you're making contact with the ball. So that's where you want to be, because then you actually have the strength from the ground all the way up to your racket. All right, here we go. So same thing here on the backhand volley as the forehand volley. You don't want your racket to go too far behind your shoulder, because you will be out of time. And then you stab through using your legs. And that always seemed to work for me. So we'll try a few faster feeds now as well. And again, really important with the wrist, how that is positioned. I don't want it way too bent like I've talked about before, but also the main thing is you want your whole chain activated from your feet up to the end of your racket. If you're just using upper body, you will not be fast enough, you will not be strong enough. So to meet something that's coming fast, you really need to have that base, be out in front, and really have your legs helping your arm as much as possible. When it comes to positioning, the reason why I want to stand here kind of center is because here I feel like I cover the most of what I really have to be. Pat Rafter once said he never covers lines, and I think that is something that's really important. Doubles line, I don't care about. If you can beat me with this much space every single time, then too good, then you're better than me. Doubles is a game of angles in my opinion. But when you're here, I always feel I am one step away from as much I need to cover. So to push out, for me, it starts with this leg. I'm actually pushing with this one, then moving out over my right, and with one step, I'm almost at the doubles line already. Same thing if I want to cover middle, I start with the right leg to push, lean over to my left, take one step, and I'm already here. So that leaves the returner or the player, they have to beat me with less than half a court. And I hope my partner can cover me up on that. And when you're moving and when you're playing volley, it's really important that the push comes from your back leg. So you're pushing through, same thing here, back leg on the backhand, pushing through. Your back leg moves you. All right, so now we'll demonstrate a little bit how I have to move to cover, and then hopefully that'll show you a little bit of what I'm talking about. And then always when you do this, you have to move in a V. So once you've hit your volley, you want to move slightly forward, then back into position, and then slightly forward again. So always move in a V if you can. So now we'll get to the pushing forward part, which you really have to use your back leg for. Obviously it's pretty natural, but I feel like a lot of people don't think about it. So we'll try to show now how important it is to actually push forward every time you hit a volley. I hope you enjoyed that and that there's a few things that you picked up that would help you in your own tennis. If I would say two really important things, I would say I need you to focus on the leg work and how important it is to stay low, much lower than you probably think you have to, and then that your head follows your racket head when you're volleying. So I'll see you in the next video.